Center.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Nuzat Sharmin. You just heard the headlines. Now we'll move on to the news in details. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has urged the party men to organize Awami League as well as its front organizations and go to the people to seek their votes in the next general election. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, also the President of Bangladesh Awami League, said this while addressing the party's third phase of the special extended meeting at Ganobhavan in Dhaka today. Office bearers and leaders representing different units of Awami League at districts, Upojela, Paurosabha and union levels from Rangpur, Khulna, Dhaka and Mymensingh divisions took part in the third phase extended meeting of the party. The Prime Minister said the rural economy has been boosted up and the people have started getting a good result with their higher income side by side with enjoying the facilities of digital and getting scope to live better as Awami League remains in power. No political party except Awami League has ever done anything for the peasants and people of the working class, she said, adding, Awami League is pledge bound to ensure that all people have homes and they do not suffer from starvation or are deprived of healthcare services and education, she said. The Prime Minister called upon the party leaders and workers to plead to the people so that they give votes to the Awami League candidates as they had given in the past. She said leaders and workers have no scope to show negligence in any single constituency which may lead to their defeat and might damage the scope of forming the government. Sheikh Hasina said Awami League would take part in the election in alliance with other friendly political parties. So, Awami League leaders should be ready for sacrifice. Therefore, she said, all of you must work for the candidates, whoever is given nomination from the party. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina inaugurated 10 multi-story buildings at cities Motijheel and Azimpur government colonies as part of her government's plan to raise the housing facilities of the government employees from the existing 8% to 40%. The Prime Minister inaugurated the buildings at separate functions at Motijheel and Azimpur government colonies in the capital this morning. The Prime Minister inaugurated 4 20-story buildings with 532 flats at Motijheel and 6 20-story buildings with 456 flats at Azimpur. Inaugurating the buildings at Motijheel government colony, the Prime Minister said she herself had seen the living condition of the government employees in those colonies in a very nauseous atmosphere, which prompted her to take the decision to arrange a better living condition for them. Pointing out the country's progress during the tenure of her government, the Prime Minister said it could be possible due to sincere service of the government employees. Making her fervent call to the dwellers of the buildings to maintain austerity in using electricity and water, the Premier said the government is giving huge subsidy for every unit of electricity, gas and water. For making the residential areas livable and good-looking, the Prime Minister asked them to maintain cleanliness of the buildings, stairs, lifts and surroundings. Later, Sheikh Hasina inaugurated 6 multi-story buildings at cities' Azimpur government colonies. At the function, she said similar buildings would be constructed at district and Upojala levels so that government employees can live there in a better condition and have working atmosphere. The Prime Minister said the old buildings of the colonies would be demolished for park, walk space, ponds and gardens. President Mohammad Abdul Hamid has arrived in London today for medical checkup and eye treatment. The VVIP flight of Biman Bangladesh Airlines carrying the President landed at Heathrow Airport in London this afternoon, local time. President Abdul Hamid left Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport by a VVIP flight of Biman Bangladesh Airlines this morning. Agriculture Minister Begum Mutiar Chaudhry, Local Government, Rural Development and Cooperatives Minister Khondukar Musharraf Hussain, Foreign Minister Abul Hassan Mahmud Ali, Dean of Diplomatic Corps, British High Commissioner to Bangladesh, Cabinet Secretary, Chiefs of the three services, Principal Secretary of the Prime Minister's Office, Inspector General of Police, Foreign Secretary and high civil and military officials saw the President off at the airport. The President is scheduled to have his checkup at Bupa Cromwell Hospital and Moorfields Eye Hospital in London. President Mohammad Abdul Hamid is expected to return home on July 15th.
Industries Minister Amir Hossain Amo has said there will be no election in country defying the constitution. He said this at a reception accorded to him by Jhalokati Jila Parishad in Jhalokati today. Jhalokati Jila Parishad Chairman and Jila Awami League President Sardar Muhammad Shah Alam shared function attended by Chairman of Parliamentary Standing Committee on the Ministry of Religious Affairs, Bozlul Haq Harun MP and local Awami League leaders. Amir Hossain Amo said, country gets developed and people live in peace and prosperity whenever Awami League comes to power. Bangladesh has earned global recognition as a respectable country through the able leadership of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, he added. Health and Family Welfare Minister Mohammad Nasim has urged the pharmaceutical companies to reduce the prices of drugs so that common people of the country can afford it. The minister was addressing a view exchange meeting with officials of a local pharmaceutical company at the Secretariat today. Director General of Directorate of Drug Administration, Major General M. Mustafizur Rahman, and Director General of Health Services, Professor Dr. Abul Kalam Azad, were present among others. Mohammad Nasim said, currently Bangladesh is exporting medicines to over 151 countries, including India, Sri Lanka, Germany, USA, France, Italy, UK, Canada, the Netherlands and Denmark, as we are producing good quality drugs. Information Minister Hassanul Haq Inu has urged a new generation to work for building Bangladesh a communalism, terrorism and a drug-free country. He made the call while addressing a function at an English medium school in the capital today. Hassanul Haq Inu said, Bengali nation will raise its head in the world when its members can identify themselves with humanity. He urged the students to avoid Bangla pronunciation in English style and avoid following foreigners. Later, the Information Minister handed over certificates to the successful students of A-level of the school. The National Film Award 2016 will be distributed through a gala function at Bangabandhu International Conference Center in the capital tomorrow. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is expected to hand over the awards to recipients. Ministry of Information and Bangladesh Film Development Corporation jointly organized the function. All preparations have already been completed to make success of the function. Final rehearsal of the gala function was held with the participation of selected artists. Popular actors Purnima and Firdaus will be the anchors of the event, while noted actors of the film industry will perform at the function. State Minister for Information Tarana Halim and Information Secretary Abdul Malik watched the rehearsal.
Now international news. Flooding and landslides have killed at least 49 people and 48 missing in western areas of Japan. More than 1.6 million people had been ordered to evacuate their homes for fear of flooding and further landslides, with 3.1 million more advised to leave. Japan's meteorological agency retained special weather warnings and called it historic rains. More rain is expected over the next few days. Chief Cabinet Secretary said about 48,000 police, firefighters and members of Japan's self-defense forces were responding to appeals for help. The Thai boys trapped in a cave have exchanged emotional letters with their parents for the first time since their ordeal began 2 weeks ago. "Don't worry, we are all strong," one child said in a note. "Teacher, don't give us lots of homework," he joked. The team's coach apologized to parents in a separate letter, but parents wrote that he should not blame himself. The 12 boys and the coach were exploring the cave when they became trapped by floodwaters on 23rd June. Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif has called on European powers to implement economic measures to protect the 2015 nuclear deal before US sanctions against Tehran snap back between August and November. Zarif made the statement yesterday after a meeting in Vienna with foreign ministers from countries that are still signatories to the multinational deal following the US unilateral withdrawal in May. Now we need to enter into the implementation stage, Zarif, speaking in Persian, told reporters gathered at the Austrian capital. Iran has threatened to withdraw from the deal officially known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPO, if it does not receive enough economic guarantees from Europe. Spider-Man co-creator Steve Ditko has died aged 90 in New York. He was found unresponsive at his flat in Manhattan and was declared dead by paramedics who attended the scene. Ditko rose to fame for his work with Marvel Comics in the early 1960s, working with company's future CEO, Stan Lee, on ideas including Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. It was Ditko who created Spider-Man's distinctive blue and red costume and the web shooters he wore on his wrists. He avoided publicity for most of his life and refused to appear on air for the 2007 BBC film In Search of Steve Ditko. But British TV presenter Jonathan Ross, who met Ditko while making the documentary, described Ditko as the single greatest comic book artist and creator who ever lived.
Coming back to the national news. State Minister for LGRD and Cooperatives Moshir Rahman Ranga has said that the government of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is working for developing Bangladesh to a middle-income country by 2021 and a developed one by 2041. He said this while addressing a discussion meeting at a hotel in the capital today. The discussion was organized marking the 96th International Cooperatives Day. Bangladesh Shomobai Bank Chairman Mohiuddin Ahmed and President of Bangladesh Jatiya Shomobai Union Sheikh Nasir Hussain Lipu, among others, were present on the occasion. Moshir Rahman Ranga urged the cooperatives members to be cautious, thus none can create anarchy and terrorism in the country, marking the upcoming general election. Now, weather news. A low has formed over Northwest Bay and adjoining area. It is likely to intensify. Under its influence, deep convection is taking place over North Bay and adjoining area. Squally weather is likely to affect the maritime ports, North Bay and adjoining coastal area of Bangladesh. Maritime ports of Chattogram, Cox's Bazar, Mongla and Paira have been advised to hoist local cautionary signal number 3. I repeat, signal number 3. All fishing boats and trawlers over North Bay have been advised to come close to the coast and proceed with caution till further notice. They are also advised not to venture into the deep sea. Meanwhile, maximum temperature was recorded 36.5 degrees Celsius at Nikli in Sherpur, while minimum temperature was 25.7 degrees Celsius in Rangamati today.
To end the bulletin, headlines once again.
And that's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for staying with us, and we invite you to watch our 11:30 Bangla News. Until then,